Here we are. I was too busy running my mouth. But anyway, here we are. Here we are. We are here. We are here.
And welcome once again to Taking the Journey Together. We're glad that you are here as well. We have a very exciting and interesting show for you today. And one of our longtime friends and guests and fixtures is back with us today. She's kind of like a revolving door. She will revolve out when she has to, and she'll revolve back in when she can. And that's always a good thing. To know that you can, you're not going forever.
You have the luxury of being able to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you go ahead, baby, and talk about our new, this white chair is just like blurring out our nice new background. Look at our background. Look at that. I got the wrong chair. Look, I was wondering why that was glared so bad I couldn't see the background. It's the chair. The chair's white. So that's the reason why.
So what's going to happen is next week,
you're going to put something
I'm going to put something over it.
Yeah, exactly. So give us, give everybody who's watching our visionary statement to get things started.
Okay, first of all, I want to say for those of you who have not been with us before and are not sure who we are and why you're here, you are here because you want a very strong relationship with your partner and or the partner that you're hoping to have somewhere in the future or you're looking for. And you are here with Imar and I'm Zare, and you're taking this journey together with us. I'm going to read to you our belief statement. It says, we are going to relate. It doesn't matter what your mother says, your father says, your children say, or even what Jesus says. We are going to relate. At Taking the Journey Together, we get the idea, we know people get the idea that we can be friends, but we can't be lovers, or we can be lovers, but we can't be friends. Therefore, we feel like we can marry our lovers, but not our friends. At Taking the Journey Together, we feel the need to relate in a balanced way. And by balanced, since we believe your best friend can be your best lover, we mean taking the friendship and sharing on the one side and the lover and sexual compatibility on the other side, and then working towards creating a thriving relationship, or what we call healthy relationships.
Okay.
So that's our belief statement.
So before we start our show, I want you to share. Yes, we want you to share with your friends, share with your family, share with your enemies. Share with all those that you know that need to hear about how to expand, how to, in turn, build, how to make that relationship even better than what it is now and what you want it to be. So,
and this just popped into my head.
Go ahead.
And it comes from years of hearing people say the wrong thing. If you have teenage children who are into dating, and especially if you have teenage children who are dating people that you don't approve of, make sure that you set aside some time for them to watch this too.
Exactly. It is recorded on our site on Facebook, so you can always send it to them.
Exactly. And young people are just kind of muddling through worse than we did in our time.
Exactly. So our topic, let's see who's already popping in already. Let's see who that is. Well, I did see some comments a few minutes ago. Where is it at?
Right there.
Where?
Gianni.
Oh, there it is. Go right ahead.
Gianni Tyler says hello. Gianna, I'm sorry. And Randall Nunez. Hello to both of you, and we're so glad that you are here with us.
Yes. And there used to be a way that you could actually view this. Well, I've put up here. How's that? There's Gianna. Well, Tyler, and then there is Randall News. Thank you. Somebody else coming on already. Awesome, Michael Pratt. Good to see him. So let's get into our topic. That's what I wanted to get to. There's our topic right here. And then I think it's a good time to go ahead. I probably should have introduced our guest before we talk the topic.
I was getting ready to say something.
I'm sorry, just sue me.
No.
Get a long list if you want to.
I can't sue you because that would be like suing me.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah, we'll just talk about what we'll get if we sue one another.
Why don't we talk about getting her introduced?
That's even
Want to bring her in now?
Yes.
I think so. There we go. There she is.
There she is, our spiritual advocate.
I love that.
Yes.
Spiritual advocate. I love that. And we are so glad. I haven't seen you for a little while. It's been what did she said before? Um, man, I forgot the word she said last time that everybody was like, "Wow."
I don't look at
Sure.
me.
Well, before it's over, she'll say it too, so we know it. So that's how that goes. So, how are you doing, Miss Sister Latita? How you doing, my spiritual?
I am doing well. I am here. I'm on this journey, and I'm
Mhm.
very appreciative of taking the journey together with you all. So thank you for that.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you,
We're
thank you,
so happy to have you on this journey with us, and we kind of
Deborah
can
Davis.
share here,
Mm-hmm.
which is really good.
Yes.
Hello, Deborah. How you doing? She got that golden hair going on there. Yes, yes, yes. Well, our topic is going to be a serious, but at the same time, a topic that I think in a lot of relationships, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people are living in this relationship like this and have been for a
Yeah,
long time.
and a lot of people are living in this type of relationship, and they don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm,
don't realize that there is um, that there may be reasons behind it or an
mm-hmm.
issue that they need
Exactly.
to address.
Exactly. Our topic is dealing with what again?
The silent
The
distance.
silent emotional disconnects in relationship where partners still share the same space in
Mm-hmm.
bed, house
Or
too.
share the same bed and everything else. Yeah.
Exactly. But emotionally they are worlds apart. Emotionally they are just worlds apart. Now
Mm-hmm.
remember, we've started a new way of us being able to deliver this. We don't want to stay all over the place, and we want to tarry just on the subject and go down a whole bunch of different what they call
Rabbit
rabbit
holes.
holes. We want to make sure we get this information to you, and in terms of something you take home and digest, or something you take home and digest right now. And we try to make sure it gets all compressed in one of our sessions. So we'll be doing this in segments, and our segments, as we did before, is have been in 10-minute segments. Our first one is we're dealing with the introduction, and we're going to give you a little bit of example, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about it. Each one, we get about 10 minutes, and then we kind of move on to our next segment. First one, as we just spoke of, describing that situation.
Yeah.
And then we're going to give you an example. What's an example, by the way?
Okay. Um, there's a couple.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't fought.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had any harsh words.
Mm-hmm.
But every night they go to bed. She faces the wall, and he scrolls on his phone until sleep takes over. The silence is louder than any argument.
Oh my goodness, sounds like a couple of times what I do with you.
Exactly.
With my phone up in
Exactly.
the air, my nice folded phone up in there, I got it open,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at whatever I'm doing and going through, and you on the other side, with either your back turned, or you're looking over my shoulder too. Sometimes seeing what I'm
Yeah.
reading. I know you do. Trying to
I,
see if you see any nasty girls, and ain't none of them on there,
you know
but
what?
you be trying to look anyway.
You know what?
What?
They're on the phone.
Oh, okay.
I'm with you.
Okay.
So, so when I'm looking over your shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to bide my time until I can actually fall asleep, because 9 times out of 10,
Mm-hmm.
that clock is going to alarm way before I'm ready for it to.
So we're almost up with this section, but let's ask our guests. We know we're being tongue in cheek, and when that happens, of course, we always know that there's a balance in the streams, and we're trying to refer mostly to the ones that cause the problems in the relationship, where it's extreme, where you in turn feel so silent, so distant from your particular mate. This example of a scenario is something that's been going on for months and months, weeks and weeks, months and months, sometimes for years.
Sometimes you don't even get a good night out of it before you face your space,
Exactly.
particular spaces.
You want to give us some input on that, Latina? What is your thoughts, your feelings, or have you been in that situation before? Or so, go ahead.
Well, when you said she's facing the wall, or he's facing the wall, and she's on the phone, he's on the phone, well, what was the emotional discourse? And usually, when people project the emotional discourse, they're doing that just to get an aligned energy response, right? So, what my suggestion is before you go to bed.
Before you say that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but you gave us, you said something that a lot of people may not be clear what you mean. An aligned response. Is that what you said?
Yes, an aligned energy response. What I mean is that the person in the bed is already upset. He or she is upset with you. So they're going to pick a fight. And you're going to give them the same energy that he's giving you. You're giving them. That's that aligned energy. So now both of y'all are in this toxic pool together. Because it takes two to argue, not one.
Two to tangle. That's what we used to say. It takes two to tangle. Wow. So now that's that argument stage that usually we know about this situation.
Right.
I had an argument today, and in turn, I ain't talking to you, you ain't talking to me.
Right.
Some people use a biblical terminology. Don't let the sun go down on your anger, in so many words.
Yes.
And that happens in many relationships. Our scenario, we were tongue in cheek because we weren't angry at the time when we did it. In fact, it's almost a notorious thing that happens when we go to sleep.
It's kind of like with us. It's kind of like one person's ready to go to sleep and the other one is ready to watch TV.
Exactly.
Except you generally use your phone.
Exactly. So we're referring to the time. We're of course referring to the portions in the relationship when this is happening that's keeping you from being connected.
Yeah.
Keeping you from having that united spirit, keeping you from utilizing introspection and inspection in your relationship. That's what we're referring to. So you're operating mostly in a separate way. So let's move to our next segment as we have set this up. I know we're moving quickly, but I think this is important, is understand the emotional distance, because that's the portion. That's right. Emotional distance. Are we saying, yes, are we saying that if you have a continuous emotional distance in your relationship, it's not balanced, it's not healthy? If that's a continuous relationship that's a foundation in your relationship, that is not good. That's what we're saying. That's what this is all about. That emotional distance should not be there.
Yes.
Right.
And emotional distance is when intimacy breaks down, not physically, but spiritually and emotionally.
Exactly.
So you still may be connecting body to body, but you don't. But that emotional connection, that spiritual connection, is missing. It's asleep. It's it's non-existent, and that's where the emotional distance comes in.
My spiritual sister, what do you think about sometimes the relationships will use the sexual connection that comes from having sex, and you have that strong connection there that sometimes can mute the feelings of anger and upsetness? And it's a good way to use it, that if we're not talking through the day, we'll just go ahead and make love or have sex, whatever it may be, and that should be good enough for the day. Good, yeah. What do you think about that?
Us on.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, are you really making love, or is it toxic?
I
mean, you're both angry. As you said, you've muted out everything else to go do this physical act. It's a physical act that still affects you emotionally, that still affects you spiritually. So all you're doing is binding yourself in other ways. You're furthering the toxicity.
Yes. I like what you say from the standpoint of we will use the emotional energy that comes from, maybe we are good when it comes to making love or having sex with one another. I didn't want to use the word lust, but that could be mostly the ramification behind it. But it covers the anger I have when we are not connected physically, when I think about you, or when she thinks about him and how that day was, or maybe how I've been thinking about you for a long time from that end, and how that covers that whole thing up.
And even at that, we see examples of that on some TV shows and all, where the couple are angry and they have what they call makeup sex. But then what happens after that? They turn over. She's facing this wall, he's facing this wall. And, it was just like, okay, so what was the point? It didn't do anything to heal anything. because that's not what's going to heal it in the first place.
So what do you think about my spiritual sister? What do you think about that unspoken resentment that many times is the foundational fire that's burning behind all of that? What do you think about that?
Well, see, it's again, as you said, it's unspoken, and somebody is going to have to speak, and it has to be the one with rationale. This is where we want to give emotion a side seat and give them a cup of coffee, give emotion a cup of coffee until we need emotion in there. We have to have that discussion, because if we don't have that discussion, we're not moving together, progressing for healing at all.
Right. Exactly. And then you get sometimes in our relationships for those couples who are like, nah, that's not really a problem. But we didn't have those couples who have kids, where work, kids, and survival, get so at a high level, especially now today when rich are getting richer and we, even the middle class, are being poor. So we're just walking 2 or 3 jobs, or like a little gerbil on a cage, running, and it can get so toxic involved with that. You don't even have any time to really talk to each other. You may go through a whole week where you really never said anything to each other, and you went to bed the same way. I didn't know who this person is, right. But you go through your usual schedule.
Exactly, and nobody is bothering to say, we are losing each other.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for us to downsize everything that we're doing. You know, move into a smaller place so that we can have more time together.
Yeah.
You know, not so many jobs, you know, get the kids more involved, you know, that type of thing. But you're not having that conversation if you have a lot of animosity built up.
Exactly. Do you feel, my sister, do you feel that feelings of unheard or being misunderstanding is a place of a seed like that can grow easily because of that discomfort in that distance?
What do I feel as though it can grow the feelings of yes, of course it can. Resentment is a fire. It takes like quickly. It's fueled by the air of speech. That is why we must sit back with rational minds after things have cooled down. Cooler heads prevail. Remember that saying, cooler heads prevail?
Yes.
And so that's what must happen. Cooler heads. The one with the coolest head is the one that needs to speak first.
Exactly. I like how you said, I think today, those who want to try to move closer in a relationship, I think a lot of it has to do with, I want to feel understood. I want to feel that I'm not heard. And we do know that down south, there's also a carry on in the relationships that come through the reasons of how families were set up, especially because of slavery, where the male many times is to be seen, but he's not to be heard. And he may feel that relationship, I'm not even being heard. I just feel like I'm just that good and pack mule out there just working every day. And if I may want to come up, my feelings, I'm going to open, I want to talk with my wife. She's like, nah, this is down south. You to be seen. I don't care what you say. If you're talking too much, you're being too emotional in the first place. So don't say nothing whatsoever. So sometimes that is that side where a male may feel unheard too.
Right. And women go through that a lot because on the job they're not heard, and they come home sometimes and they have a partner who doesn't want to hear them or always feels like what they have to say is the most important. You know, and either way, when one, no matter which way it goes, whether it's on the male side or the female side in a relationship, if somebody is feeling unheard, that's a problem.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Yes. Yeah. Darren works 12 hours a day, as example. Okay. Tasha handles the kids. They say they love each other, but haven't laughed together in weeks. When's the last time you laughed with your mate? When's the last time you laughed with your husband? When's the last time you laughed with your wife? How about this? When's the last time you laughed with your even children?
Yeah.
Might have been a long time since you did. And I'm not talking about you laughed at them. I'm talking about they laughed with you. When's the last time? Like having a poor Wi-Fi in your soul. Okay, you're connected, but the signal's weak. I'll say it's a technical guy. Like having a poor Wi-Fi in your soul.
Like something that's so up your alley.
Exactly.
Not that it's a reflection of you, but the Wi-Fi
metaphor in your soul. But yet the signal's weak. I will let you in before we go to this next segment. Sister, what do you think about that portion right there? And that before we go into the next segment, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean that was a great metaphor. Wi-Fi is weak, and that's the thing. We need to boost up our connection with each other, but more importantly, boost your connection with yourself.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love that. That's the foundational start of it all when you think about it too.
I love the way she does these statements, and it's just like a mic drop.
Oh, she's
She just
hey, I'm going to say to you, she is being a blessing to us. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to segment 4. Those who are keeping up with us, hoping you're taking your notes, because this English teacher is going to say the assignment's going to be due next week. No, I'm just joking. She's off.
Did we do segment 3?
What's that?
Did we do segment 3?
Oh no, we didn't. Thank you. I just failed. I just failed right on the spot. Are you going to put a dunce hat on me? Okay, let's move.
No dunce hat. This is a chance to get a do-over.
Do-over. Oh, she's so sweet. Ginger silence. How we withdraw differently. Ooh, I didn't know men and women withdraw differently. I didn't know that we acted. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You go.
Oh, see, this is one that speaks to me in not so nice of a way. I'm the queen of withdrawal.
I mean, yeah, you like to be. You weren't born that way, but yeah.
I know, but I have become that, which is something that I also want to unbecome.
Yeah.
Because it's after so many years of being in situations where you have a lot to say, but you feel like it's not going to be appreciated, or it's not going to count for anything. You learn, rather than having that rejection constantly, to just say nothing. And so you just take your thoughts and you turn. It's like when you take off a sock. It's right side out, and then when you take it off, if you pull it off, everything is turned inside, and so that's when all of those thoughts and everything goes inside. And that's what it is when you feel like you're not heard enough, and you become a master of withdrawal.
Exactly. And you may not even know that because you took off the socks and people were upset because your feet stank.
Well, let me tell you, some of those things that those thoughts that you're not sharing, the things that you're not putting out there, because they're being kept in that sock, they stink too.
Maybe the acknowledgement is we can't heal when we don't
exactly
into what we don't want to face.
Yeah,
that's basically that's basically what that was. Well, go on, Sister Latina. Go ahead and chime in.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I love the whole sock. Mic drop for that one. But I'm an advocate for isolation, right? So when you go into, I don't look at it as withdrawal. I look at it as, for that moment, your soul needs to isolate. It's a quick healing for you in order for you to move to that next moment, whatever that next moment may be. It could be tears. It could be dealing with the rejection or feeling unappreciated. But, I look at it as just taking those moments to reflect upon you and to project, after you do that momentary reflection, to project yourself in the most beneficial manner. And maybe that beneficiality can rub off on someone else.
She just led. She didn't even know it. Not even looking at her nose. She just led right to what we were getting ready to talk about. All tools for couples. All tools. Well, we were going to be a more on the technical therapeutic side, which you know about, my sister, which is 10 minutes daily. Check in. What makes you feel close or distance today? Make sure you write it down.
But you know what? That might be a good thing to do, like say 30 minutes before bedtime. And maybe that'll keep you from going to bed into different, facing north and south or east and west. Maybe that's what's necessary so that you can go to bed on the same page. Take 30 minutes out before bedtime after the kids are in bed and all this other stuff. Turn off the TV, turn off the phone, or at least put your phone to the side and just focus on each other. What made you feel close to me today? What made you feel distant from me today? If I were doing this, I would start with what made you feel distant from me today, because that is the hard one that you're going to have to work through. If you end with what made you feel close to me today, then you're taking something positive automatically to bed with you, and so you're not fighting those negative thoughts of, well, yeah, I felt distant because you didn't call me but once today, and that was early in the morning. And you usually call me at every hour and a half, and I look forward to that hour and a half phone call. Whatever.
Exactly. I think our young folks are more ready to explain or bring up their emotions that you're referring to in that matter. They may not bring it up and actually handle it, express it in an intelligent way, and call it emotional intelligence, but they're more ready, young men too, to express their emotions. Where our age, our time, baby boomer time, and at the cuffs at it, we're not always so ready, especially males, to express our emotions, as you just talked about. But I think that's a good therapeutic, but at the same time, maybe non-confrontational way to do it, because you're writing it down. And I know my sister friend knows that writing things down on paper many times is a way to just to untrigger the emotions that come from your tone of voice, comes from your body language. It makes it easier to pass it over. Am I correct?
Yes, and see, it's affirming as well. And so, with what you just said, sister, with me, just to add on, I will start with the positive, and then we're going to fill up with the things that we need to work on, and then we're going to also end with the positive. So we begin with the positive, we fill up what we need to work on, and then we're also going to end with the positive. You see?
I like that. I definitely like that.
Yes.
Remember, below, taking the journey together at gmail.com. You can always get a hold of us. We can get this information over to you. I got a telephone number there, 786-763-1324. Of course, again, when you leave your information, it probably goes to our voicemail. Make sure you leave your name. Make sure you leave a little bit what you're concerned about or what you turn right from us. We'll get back with you from that end. Do know that when you call, you will get a voicemail that is taking the journey together. You don't have to drop the phone and wonder, oh God, it really is there. Yes, there is a phone number. Yes, there is a voicemail. We do exist for that particular end. But let's move on from there. How about
should we?
Why?
Might be a good time to take a break.
Well, I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Then we're going to move to the break, and then we'll go to segment, because I'm going to finish this segment.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason.
I'm sorry. I thought you were moving to the next segment.
No. We're going to do that after the break, but I want to finish this segment.
Okay.
I think one of the biggest things for young folks, especially our baby boomers and the rest of them, no, not the baby boomers. Who's the ones that are now who are 35 and under, even 45 and under now? Millennial, and the rest of them, all the way to the ones who are 15 under. They are stuck to this thing called the phone, and it ain't going away. It's not going away. So eye contact doesn't even exist. When you and I go out, when we started noticing it, people could sit at the table and never even look at each other, speak to each other at all, because they were on the phone. I'm surprised they don't have a program that you could download on your phone that says let you be able to speak to your mate right across on the other side. You know what? Then you just talk to the.
This is how bad it is, and how right on point you are with that. The club that I'm the sponsor of at the high school, they go out on little group get-togethers once a month, and so they can build the friendship, build the camaraderie, and get to know each other better and all that. They were telling me about one time they went out, and they always come back and tell me what went on it, because I one thing I need to know. But they were talking about how one girl had to babysit her sister. Her sister was in middle school, and her sister's friend had come over. So rather than her not going, she checked with them, made sure they didn't mind her bringing her sister and her sister's friend. They sat at the table and text each other. They talked to each other the whole time, but it was through text or Snapchat or whatever it is that they were doing. They didn't talk to one another. Sitting next to each other, they were just texting.
That's just how far that impersonalness is actually in turn going. I can see why in the future the kind of relationships that build foundational closeness, real friendship is not going to happen. And of course, that one particular sister we work with talks about people who are young now. They only have nothing but situationships.
Yes.
They don't know anything about relationships. You want to chime in, my sister Tila?
Well, I mean, doesn't that parlay into transhumanism? I mean, when you say they sit there and they text, and you said there should be something that speaks for them, and it is. It's called Chat GBT. You can get Chat GPT to speak for you. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to associate with another person ever. And that's built in. This is society built. That's how it's built in. And this is what we've accepted being a part of society.
It is, sadly so. So our next one leads us in to say we can understand why general touch and intentional affection doesn't even exist. Really is something they have no experience in, something they don't know closely whatsoever, because their phones are really taking the place.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that you may have came from a relationship of a mother and father that have actually practiced the same thing, because of the fact that these are just ripples of time that have started from the past that are moving this direction because of how the environment in this particular world in this particular time is enforcing itself. So you have kids or young people that say, what do I need to be emotionally touched? What do I need to be emotionally affectionate for? My mother and father not. They haven't been that way. And the mother and father said, I never saw my mother and father like that either.
And the thing of it is, it's even worse now, because a lot of us as adults raising children, we have these high intensity jobs that, you know, we have our work email on the phones. We have our, you know, you can always get in touch with me because I'm on the phone, you know, through chat or text or whatever. And so you never disconnect from the job. You're at your job 24/7. You're more available and emotionally attached to your job than you are to your children. You know, I had to call a parent because of the child, and first thing she said when he got on the phone, because I have them call on their own phone, the first thing she said to him is, why are you calling me now? You know I'm working. Well, he's calling you now because he's sitting here doing what he's not supposed to do. He's supposed to be working too. You know, but the job was more important at that time.
So we got a couple activity example for help. We're all about giving help. Important. So you can get that relationship to work together and not stay apart. Okay, one couple started brushing their teeth together again each night. Okay, small. Sometimes like an elephant, you got to eat off it one little piece at a time. Eat that whole elephant. Small, but it brought laughter and routine and intimacy. Sometimes you may have to do something just that small. Give us another spiritual example, my sister, before we go into what's it called? The break. The break. Yes, go ahead.
Well, actually, just simply saying good morning or grand rising to each other.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay. With that, we are going to go to our break. And after we get from our break, we'll come back. So hold on to everything you got. Make sure if you got some more friends that need to know this, you got a break now to get them on the phone and talk to them so they go from there. All right. We'll be right back. Wrong one. No wonder why she was tapping me on the phone.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
Hello world, we're here, serving Savannah, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Brooklyn, Houston, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and the world. The best music all the time, the greatest songs ever made. every time. Tune in to Hot 2100 Savannah and get a taste for your ears. Hot 2100 Savannah, serving Savannah and the world.
I'd be damned if it's me. I see why you mad, you ain't swaggin' like
this. Savannah, are you looking for some of the best Southern soul food? Then check out Kim's Cafe at 714 MLK Boulevard. The food is so good, you'll think that your mother cooked it. Located in the heart of Savannah, Kim's has a menu that includes breakfast anytime, lunch when you need it, and dinner so you won't have to cook when you get home. They also cater all types of events and can host your reserved event at the restaurant. Come see what everyone has been raving about. Great food, great atmosphere, and a great time. Kim's Cafe, 714 MLK Boulevard in beautiful downtown Savannah.
Hey, got back again. Love our breaks. Been to Kim's before. Many times
Kim's food.
Working for her to do some more vegetarian food on there and fruitarian food, because I just can't eat all that kind of soul food anymore because it's hitting my solar plexus in my arm plexus and the plexus that ain't supposed to be plexing from that particular end. So if you're listening to Kim, please, I play your commercial all the time on our show. We should be getting a free something once in a while since we've been pushing them a lot on our show. Now that I think about it.
You know what you can eat there?
No, what?
The greens.
Yeah, I do love the greens. I
are
definitely love the greens. Well, let's go like this. Tell us where they can see us and hear us before we get back
on Saturday mornings. You can catch us on WRUU 107.5 from 9 to 10. I just messed that one up.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the Journey Together on WRUU every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m.
And what else here?
Well, you can email us at takingthejourneytogether@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at TTJ Together. On Instagram, we are Taking the J Together.
And last but not least, important.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Call us 786-763-1324. Taking the Journey Together @gmail.com. Reaching us at...
Oh, what I do wrong? Okay, I'm sorry. There you go. I'm sorry.
Never mind. We'll get the phone number up there for you again later.
Oh, that was the phone number.
That was the phone number. The one that I have yet to memorize.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Hey, didn't I just have that up there for you?
You did, but
that's right there now.
I was about to read it again. 786-763-1324. I can remember the 763-1324. Anyway, I'll get it soon. 786-763-1324.
Also, too, please, if you want to donate to the radio station, streaming station, and the streaming live that we're doing on, please donate this at the platform at $ all things relevant on Cash App. And we're here only because of you. And that will give him a chance to get all that funds in and start just paying his host for doing such a good job of taking our time out for a whole week to do all this research, get people just as interesting as Latita on it, and then all of us is happy. It's a win-win situation. Okay, let's bring it back up.
And
that was a shameless plug. No, I wasn't ashamed. I'll be honest.
As you say, shameless. So, yeah, sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if that means throwing something out there for yourself. Who was it? Joe Madison said, if you don't toot your own horn, you can't expect anybody else
and he's marched with Martin Luther King, He's marched with every civil rights leader you can think of.
Yes.
That was his conclusion in that particular matter. But once you say what you said when we were on our breaks, that you said redo and haven't did it that much as before, and what it made you feel.
Yeah. Well, we started this thing where when we were talking about what couples have done to bring them closer to one another. We started this thing where in the mornings when I get ready to leave after I'm dressed and everything, the last thing we do before I go out the door is I go and I wake him up and I say, I'm getting ready to leave, and which gives him an idea that in about 30 minutes or so he'll be getting up too. But the important thing is I go and I wake him up and I say, I'm getting ready to leave. And he'll say, okay, let's have prayer now. And so we will pray together before I leave in the morning. One morning, because he had been up all night working on some project and had just come to bed right after I got up, he was deep into sleep and could not wake up enough. And so he was like, well, we'll call later and we'll do the prayer. And I said, okay. And I didn't realize how much that prayer time together meant to me before I walked out of the house and went to the job. And so the next day it was like, okay, we'll do it. The next time he did that, next time that happened, I said, okay, forget it, never mind. And I just prayed while he was asleep, and then it was all okay. The prayer, it's something about that prayer that was bonding us that we really did not realize how much it was, and bonding us in the day and preparing us for the day where we don't have a lot of contact with each other during the day because of my job and the availability. So that became something that was very important, and it meant a lot as far as keeping us together.
Uniting our spirits so that in turn we can move through our soul, hopefully on the same page where we're separated from one another. It's definitely a good way to start your particular day, especially when both of us are going separately in our own ways into the world. There's no doubt about it. Now, some people will say, that's not a small thing like you just talked in your last segment of doing with the tooth. Yeah, but you can gradually get there. And as we're all about expanding your relationship and helping you make sure your relationship is on a good ground, a foundational ground, this is something that you can move to too and make it part of your life.
And you have to look at your relationship as to where it is.
Thank you.
We were not at the toothbrushing stage. We were at where we needed to bond, to do spirit bonding.
And which is the stage that all of us should get to, especially if you want a good, balanced, healthy relationship. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. So let's move to the next segment. I think
first of all, we need to see if Latita has anything to add to that.
Oh, we go right ahead. I just know that we're moving to other segment. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, you guys are doing it. I mean, if a couple wants to drink juice together or pour each other a glass of juice or make a coffee, that's also another bonding element. So there you go.
Yeah. I think it's important that rituals. I wasn't into a ritual person before, but I think rituals that bring on habits, good habits, are very important, because many times we're doing habitual stuff right now that are negative and we pay no attention to it at all. What's a better way to find something that's a ritual that is really positive, where it brings that relationship together and brings more bonding, brings more intentionality in that relationship? Yes. That's a good ritual that we should start and do. So our next segment, we're going on dealing with deeper hurt and seeking help. Seeking help. When distance is tied to betrayal, depression, or long-term patterns. That's what distance can actually. This is on that other side of that scale. This is on that extreme side of the scale that can happen in a relationship. And people might be living on that extreme side of the relationship every day, all the time. They're so immune to it, they think nothing about it.
And then the one thing is, especially in the Black community, depression does not happen. We are never depressed. Everything is always fine. Everything is always great. You know,
the white folks have got problems.
We will go into the shower and we will cry our hearts out and scream just under the sound of the running water, but we're not depressed. You know? And that's one of the issues that we have. We don't face up to those things. We'll talk about betrayal all day long. Oh, he did this to me. Do you know she did that? You know, but our personal depression, that's mine.
That shit's called letting out shame. Sister Latina, I know you have a lot to say to that in that matter. I know Sharon was being sarcastic, but I know you have a lot to say to that, especially in our area when it comes to us black folks and white folks, but especially the black folks. You want to speak to that, my sister?
Well, I mean, she's right. It's taboo in our community. And what we do actually is we turn everything, our therapy, no matter how toxic it is, we turn everything into a joke. Everything's funny. And that's a mechanism that we use. And we use it culturally across the board. Everything is funny. And my daughter was talking about that to me. She said, "Why do we make everything funny?" I said, "Sweetie, that is a mechanism that's therapeutic for some. And we've learned to take that, and it's almost like a cultural nuance that we use. We make everything funny. And we talk to everyone at the barbershop, or if we see another sister, we dump, right? Is how you doing? Oh, guess what? You may not know them, but guess what? We just relieved that sister. She just relieved us. That's been our therapy. Talking to another, culturally knowing, but not literally knowing them.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
we've been doing forever and ever. And my thoughts are, we need to go to the Zare and the Imars and go, hey, this is what's happening. Can you assist? Can you assist us with this? This is what's going on. He done lost his mind. She done lost her mind. And we need to realize it's all right. It's all right to share grievances, right?
Yes.
And to ask someone for assistance.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's all right to do that.
Isn't that a shame that you speak so eloquently, my sister, about how we take nothing very sacred anymore, seriously anymore, especially our own lives,
Right.
our own traditions, our
Right.
own culture. We don't. I remember when I told you this before. I remember when I said in middle school, public middle school, and I was watching the show, a white guy sit up there about how black folks were being pummeled by rocks, pummeled by water. Dogs were biting on the legs back in the Civil Rights Day. And in my class, the people who were laughing the most of it were the black kids were laughing. And the white kids were basically going, I can't believe what I see, and going, and I'm looking at both of them. I'm going, man, I cannot believe us who look like me are back there laughing at it, because I didn't think it was funny. And I think what you just got to say, Sister Latina, is what you just say. We laugh and we smile in that matter just to keep from crying, just from keeping from being angry many times. We have that smile and grin, or what's that one particular poetry that one said, we wear the mask that what?
Grin and bear.
A grin and bear. But inside we are angry, inside we're crying, inside we're depressed. And we know that our oppressors wanted us to be nothing but minstrels for them, to make them laugh over the pain that they were causing against us.
Right.
And yet we still accept that as being a bottom line kind of foundation that we should operate in. And we carry it into our relationships.
Yeah, like that song, "A smile is just a frown turned upside down."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do a lot. We will take that frown and we'll turn it upside down and say, "Oh, everything is fine, everything is great, everything is good." But touching on what Latita said is, we will dump to another female, whether we know them or not, but we won't dump on our mate. We won't have these shared dumping experiences that say we need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And generally in a relationship, one person is afraid to go to a counselor for whatever reason, or afraid to go to a coach for whatever
medical
reason.
Things have happened to us before historically. And so in turn, we figure that somebody's going to mess with my body, that's going to mess with my mind. Never been good before whatsoever. It was covert in the first place. I'm not going to do it. And sometimes we default to think there ain't nothing wrong with us anyway. So we don't need nothing to be changed about us.
I have all the answers. So why do we need to go to a coach? Why do we need to go to a counselor?
I think our community needs to start thinking about support circles, where we have relationship circles, you know what I'm saying, couple journaling and faith-based connections. I say our churches are not doing enough to really deal with this. I really don't think they're doing enough to deal with it. And I understand some people, especially those who are more militant, you say, well, what did you think that they would? Huh? With the kind of hypocrisy they live in. But I still think that they should have not only class, but classes that they share within those churches, but within the community that has to do with relationships. I know we've been trying to get into some churches to be able to teach, or at least, present what we in turn are presenting that we feel will really help in our relationship. And many times, because we're not part of that church, not part of the denomination, then now we're too uncomfortable with. But I'm just telling you that we would be glad to come into any one of your churches, any one of your community centers, to help you out and bring in more of a balanced, healthy relationship look in life based on friendship. And we know in our community it's a help that's very much needed. And I'll leave with this section, if you don't mind, because we need to move on to our next one. Is y'all stop watering the love and stop sweeping what?
Started sweeping it under the rug.
I think you say it better than me, right?
Y'all stopped watering the love and started sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah.
So, what happens when, think about it as a flower. You stop watering a flower, it's going to start dying and the leaves are going to start falling off. Mm-hmm. And that's that love that you're sweeping under the rug.
And we're no wonder why we see the community what it is. Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing some white folks who have no care, no love for us and say, yeah, there's no wonder why Martin Luther King said we should judge people by not the color of skin, but by the contents of their character. And I know he wasn't saying in such a way that he was concerned from the standpoint of any pressures and stress that were on us that caused some of the contents of our character to show such a negative and a very uncomfortable and unhealthy way. I know he just was saying in such a way that says, well, when it comes down to it, you guys were born this way. This is how you really are whatsoever. There ain't no outside influence whatsoever is affecting you. So you need to understand that this is who you are. This is what you should be understanding it should be. And that's just your plot in life. That's a sad thing that happens. Well, I'll let you chime in on that one, my sister.
I mean, you can water fake flowers.
Okay.
I've seen people do it, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can water fake flowers. Mm-hmm. My spill is be real with yourself. And mm-hmm. and that's the issue. We're not being real or truthful with ourselves. And mm-hmm. so the projection is, as you said, Zara, everything's fine. Oh, I'm fine. When it's not. Be truthful to yourself first. Mm-hmm. We know that it's not fine. Be truthful with your partner. Hey, it's not fine. We need to have this discussion, right? Absolutely. So yeah, I see a lot of fake flowers being watered, and you have a lot of people waiting for it to grow. So there you go.
Exactly. She just bought the hot principle. Honest, open, and transparent. I always say that when you operate authentically, it is easy to operate honest, open, and transparent from that end. Okay, our next segment, and I think it leads very good into our next segment. Yes. Reflection and what? A call to action. We always want to come to a call to action. That's what we're all about. We'll be in all of our programs. We want to make sure that we don't just complain, but we have some solutions to help you. We can take them out. Anyway, that's what we do. Go ahead.
Recap. Let's see. You can share space, but still be miles apart. But the journey back begins with one honest moment. You can share space and still be miles apart. But the journey back begins with one honest moment.
Wow. What would you say, my sister, would be an honest moment if you're speaking to a couple right now? And there's some couples right now we're speaking to, and they know full well in their relationship they have been distanced apart. Either if he's there physically or she's not there physically, but they know that we have been distanced apart for a long time. I'm really tired of this. I want something else to be able to do.
Sitting side by side on the sofa.
Exactly. What would be one of the first things that you want to say, like a mic drop that would help them out on bringing that together as for a call to action? As for an honest moment, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, you said step back and look at what you're reflecting. And we want to make sure that reflection is beneficial because we've dealt with the forced tolerances and the forced collaborations. We don't want it forced. We don't want it forced at all. That's where we sit back and go, you know what? Let's move in love. What love got us together? Which love got us together? Was it me loving your smile, your laughter, the way that you spoke to me, the way that you tickled the inside of my hand. What love brought us together?
I remember when I did counseling before. I just said that. Okay. Anyway, it's a typical one, which is, do you remember what you did during the time you were honeymooning? Do you remember? Of course, I always say sometimes dating. I always say during that courtship period, we put on the best self too, the best ambassador. But anyway, do you remember what you did during that period of time when you were dating? Maybe you need to redate and do that again, because that's very important. How you
that's why a lot of people are looking at doing date nights, but sometimes the date nights turn into
hate nights. I didn't mean that. We got that much time. I just do it.
They turn into the same mundaneness of the relationship instead of doing something different and something unique. You know, there for a while we used to go putt-putt golfing together.
Yeah, well, I like
and that was so much fun. Not something that we did when we were dating, but something that after we were married we stumbled upon and found that it was fun.
It was better than the bowling she wanted to do. I never did like bowling. Fred Flintstone, the rest of them, the cartoon did. I didn't like it then. No, but anyway. Share truth with your partner tonight, not an accusation. Kind of much what you were talking about before at the beginning, if you remember, sister. Share truth with your partner tonight, not an accusation, and that's what we do most of the time. It's actual accusation. Oh, yeah. I'm only because
I'm accusing you exactly. Of something. You know, you didn't do this right.
I'm moving fast because we're really closing on time. We got 3 minutes. What's one thing you missed about us? That's the thing. What is one thing I missed about us? Notice, not about you, about us. There had to be some time in this relationship that you were doing a us thing. Yeah. That you forgot about doing that thing, because you were doing. Now you guys become so separate, have become so far apart from one another. Even though we are about trying to bring that together, so it becomes a together thing in your relationship. A closing thought: a cold bed doesn't start with the body; it starts with a cold heart. Wow. Let's warm it back up. Let's warm it back up again. All right, sister Latina, you got the last spot. Where you are, how are you doing in life, and then we're going to close it down.
Okay, hey, spiritual advocate. I meant to put my number down, 865-271-9694. I'm currently in Georgia right now, enjoying the Georgia vibe, but you can find me on the Talkity Tick or TikTok under LD Jackson. I look forward to hearing from you all.
We're going to see her hopefully this weekend.
Yes.
At the same time, we've never really seen each other face to face, only vibe through the spirit. We're hoping we see each other with that same vibe will be there. I believe it's going to be.
It's got to be there
at the same time. So God bless, and same time, Ashe, until we see each other again. Make sure you take that journey together and make it a good adventure too at the same time.
Hang out with us after the show.
Yeah.
like that.